Our next presenter is one of the most decorated coaches in our athletic program, and he's one of the most winning coaches in the state of New Jersey for collegiate baseball. It is my pleasure to introduce the head coach of Felician baseball, Chris Langan.
Always got to start off by lowering this.
From Gerard?
We're going to start tonight by obviously congratulating our newest members of the Felician Athletics Hall of Fame. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, all right, good. James, Marcos, and of course Jerry. Guys, your careers were simply extraordinary, and you deserved everything that life brings. And you guys did just a tremendous job while you were here at Felician. Before I really get into my speech, I want to give a lot of thank yous. There's a lot of people here that need to be thanked. As I stand here for my 20th year, I still can't kind of believe that. But I do want to thank my former boss, Ben Danella, for giving a guy 20 years ago who had no experience a chance at running a program when I really had no idea what I was doing. Probably still don't. But I'm thinking it pretty good, and Dan, JR, you look pretty good now, don't you? Obviously want to thank the Felician administration, President Crawford, Vice President PK, I know she's here somewhere. Our new boss, Andrew Torriello, who's quickly came into Felician and gave an absolute amazing facelift. I'm looking forward to working with you down the road and in the near future. Looking out here, guys, I want to thank all the people in the audience, the former players, the parents, the family. Obviously, without you guys, this night's not possible. And your endless support is appreciated. And I know I'm speaking on behalf of all these guys. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy lives to recognize this honor. So thank you guys that are in attendance tonight. Special thanks to obviously the Hall of Fame committee. You guys have a daunting task of trying to find the right athlete every year, and the search is really hard. I was on this committee for a bunch of years. A lot of names come up, and obviously it's got to get narrowed down. And I think you guys did a great job in selecting these three. So, round of applause for the Hall of Fame committee. Got to give a special thanks to the head of the Hall of Fame committee, Brendan Bonnicum. Each year, he does a great job. All right, don't interrupt. Does a really great job in making this event better and better every year, and it's just it's an honor and a privilege to be standing up here and honoring two of our baseball players. So again, thank you. Everybody else did it, so I got to do it. Carl, you're the best in the business, and thank you and love you. To all the former coaches and current coaches that are here tonight, obviously you guys are much appreciated, well valued, and Felician eventually has got to start paying you better because you guys are cheap labor. Spend way more time with these athletes than I think anybody realizes. So my hat's off to you guys, and thank you guys for everything you've done. Last but not least, it's going to be a sad day. Mark Mentone is leaving Felician. And me, on a personal note, Mark's been a lot more than just a sports information director at Felician. He's been an absolute mentor. He's been a great friend. I think his work was just held behind the scenes and came unnoticed. And I know he hates the acknowledgement, just like me. I hate being in the spotlight. It sucks. But Mark deserves so much credit for this event, this evening, the Hall of Fame, and obviously all the statistical records that are kept, all the archives, every article, every nomination for an all-conference team, Daktronics, All-American. My phone's ringing. Sorry, hold on a second. Guys that know me, that's pretty common. Sorry, I apologize. Sorry, now I lost my train of thought, Mark. You're losing your kudos. But, Mark's just been an invaluable guy here, and I think that, you know, we need to give Mark a standing ovation for all his hard work, his efforts, his dedication, his passion. Mark's the reason why we are here with Felician, and Felician Athletics is growing today. So let's stand up and give Mark a big round of applause. Quick side note, so we're asked to come up with a video montage for Mark Mentone. Now I'm probably like 13 hours deep in 4th grade homework with my children, and I gotta send my video in to Nicole. In my own admission, it sucks. I look like I'm tired, I'm frustrated. You ever do geometry and math homework with a 4th grader? Not the easiest of tasks. So I send my video. Everybody tells me, hey, it looks great, everything's great. I'm like, okay, cool, should go over well. Only to find out that the next day, I get this tape from Mark, because I know Mark's going to be emotional. And I send Mark the video, and Mark's response to me wasn't, thank you. It was, dude, you look like Really, Mark? Couldn't even get a thank you after 16 years. And countless 3 a.m. conversations and talking him off the ledge. And, you know, he's been there for me, I've been there for him. But, wow, that's all I can say. So I'm taking a little bit of a different approach tonight. I could probably stand up here and talk about Gerry Vasto for hours. I mean, I think the story was remarkable. You know, he comes from a little high school, Henry Hudson. How many people in this room know where it is? Anybody raise their hand's a liar. Yeah, you're lying. Nobody knows where Henry Hudson High School is unless you're a short conference player and you live in Monmouth County. Otherwise, you have no idea, so stop lying. So Gerry Vasto comes from Henry Hudson. His summer coach is Greg Welsh, who was a former assistant. Gives me a call and says, hey, you gotta come see this guy. He might be pretty special. So of course we drive all the way to Yaphank, New York, which is a ride, to watch this left-hand pitcher. It sucks. He goes out and does a hell of a job. You know, obviously pretty interested. He's an athletic kid, throws hard. Get the chance to meet him, well-spoken guy. Then I get to meet the chief. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Anybody that knows Chief Vasto knew you were dealing with a serious, tough dude. I knew we were starting to fall into better graces when he invited me to Starbucks to talk about Gerry's scholarship opportunity. So of course I accepted. I paid, of course, because you know cops are cheap. I didn't even get a damn PBA card until like 6 years later. So obviously the shrewd negotiator Mr. Vasto was. We got this deal done, and Gerry becomes a Golden Falcon. We then hire Arlen Freeman, who's here tonight, to be the pitching coach. I remember distinctly telling Arlen, hey, if you teach this guy how to throw strikes, we got something. Arlen looked at me like, what's wrong? I'm like, you tell me. So, I don't know, the year goes by, Gerry's warming up against Southern New Hampshire. I just keep hearing, guys, we need a ball. I throw a ball down. Guys, we need a ball. I throw another ball down. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Guys, we need another ball. I throw another ball down. I'm like, well, I don't know what happened. IO's done, BP's done, we're about to start the game. I see Arlen and I give him my customary, like, how do you look? He said, Chris, he threw 10 balls in the friggin' woods. I don't think he's gonna last very long. You better get somebody ready. Goes to show what Arlen knew. He punched out 14 that day, and we actually beat Southern New Hampshire for the first time in school history. And Gerry Vasto just kind of became, you know, what he is today. And every scout in the country then is calling. I'm like, Felician? You're calling me about a professional baseball player? Wow, crazy. So I distinctly remember now the draft coming, and I'm nervous as Gerry. You know, just not sure what's going to happen. So we get a call in the 11th round. I'm like, I'm not Gerry's agent, but I'm getting calls from scouts. All right, I'll talk. Meanwhile, I'm in the middle of a rehearsal, dance rehearsal for my daughters, or dance recital, sorry. And my wife at the time, luckily I'm divorced now, was absolutely... That wasn't be a joke. At all. It's not intended to be a joke. And make sure that comes off YouTube because she watches this. So obviously, yeah, I'm spending a hell of our time paying attention to Gerry Vasto and Scott DeYoung and the possible draft picks. And we get a call from the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 11th round. And I remember saying, "Holy, that's early. Awesome." They say, "Chris, would Gerry sign for $1,000?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not Gerry. You got to call Gerry to find out." "Well, can you talk to him?" "Sure." "Gerry, would you sign for $1,000?" "No." All right. He said no. Crickets. I'm like, that's not good. 16th round comes. Cleveland Indians call. "Hey, Vasto's available. Would he sign?" "Sure, I'll sign." $1,000? I don't think so. Let me call him. "Gerry, will you sign?" "No." All right. Now I'm like, we're in trouble now. It's the 16th round. I don't know who's going to call. A guy who's been near and dear, Mike Orlotti, a long-time Colorado Rockies scout, calls it about the 22nd round and says, "Hey, we're sending his video upstairs. What do you think Gerry will sign for?" I said, "Look, I'm going to speak for him now. He's going to sign. He's not coming back here. We need to move on. It's time. He can't do anything else at Felician. All right, we're going to get this done." Now the 22nd round goes. The 23rd round goes. I'm like, we're screwed here. But the good thing is I'm getting Gerry back, so I'm not mad. 26th round comes. I get a frantic phone call, Mike Orlotti. "Turn on your computer." Like it's been on, obviously. They're about to pick him. And I think seconds later, I hear Gerry Vasto from Felician University, or Felician College is selected, and it just ruins my whole day. Obviously it didn't, but I remember then picking up the phone call, and Gerry, I don't think he was contacted at that time. I remember him being pretty pissed off, because it's just what the draft is all about. It's anxiety-driven, ridden, awful. And finally, a deal is done. And, Gerry's rise was remarkable. I remember right after his first year, he only got pitched one inning, got 3 outs. And I remember getting a call from Mike Orlotti saying, "We might have a problem." And I said, "What's the problem?" "Gerry's there. He's got an inning under his belt. He might be hurt. They're thinking about getting rid of him." I'm like, "Wait, what? That's not good." Mike obviously is a well-respected scout, tells him, "Hey, we got to give this guy a chance." Gerry shows up to spring training the next year and, obviously writes history. They fall in love with him. Every other day my phone's ringing about how great this kid from Felician University in Ohio is, how great he is. And I'm like, "That's cool. Maybe we can get Felician right, and it's definitely in New Jersey." Gerry and I probably had a pretty strong relationship. A lot of late night phone calls. Probably again the reason why I'm divorced. Nobody knew who at 2 a.m., but it was Gerry, and just talking about outings and baseball and all these big-time college baseball players that were no good. Like I told them, you just got to go there, believe in yourself, and keep being you. And Gerry did just that. And I remember Danny Nate's graduation night. I want to say it was June of 2018. I get the call. I'm intoxicated. I'm walking into my cabinet to get some aspirin because I know I'm going to have a hangover. And I get the call from Gerry. And I'm like, "What the hell does he want now?" And I just remember vividly the conversation being something to the effect of, "You told me to give you a call when I made the major leagues." And I just remember the goosebumps and just the excitement and obviously realizing that, a guy that worked so hard on and off the field had finally made it. And not only did he make it, but he made it from a small little town, a small little college, and he's a Jersey boy. And he's not 6'5", which is obviously another knock. But, Gerry just worked his butt off. And I think everybody that I talked to, I've got a million texts over the day from teammates and even professors. And every text or phone conversation all said the same thing. Gerry Vasto just had an aura about him. He was off the field a different guy than he was on the mound. On the mound, he was vicious, competitive, obviously just strived for perfection. And off the field, let's be honest, he was a nerd. He did great in school. He helped half our team graduate and made friends with all the professors. Let me quickly, I know I'm taking a long time, but I really don't care. I've been here for 20 years. I want to make sure the story is told. Give me 2 seconds to find my notes. I just want to give you some feedback from the eyes of some of the people that he touched as he was here. This is coming from a professor, Dr. Scardino. And he says, Gerard Vasto is the epitome of a student athlete. He practiced great balance in his education and his love of baseball. He's successful in life because he's a great son, student, teammate, classmate, and friend. He also has great humility, which ties it all together. Every student athlete at Felician has much to learn from Gerard Vasto. Congratulations, Gerard, on your special day. That's from Professor Scardino. I think this next one came from a guy that Jerry probably just scared the shit out of, but another guy that probably will have his name called someday, John Holland, writes, congratulations, JV. Getting into the Hall of Fame is truly a great accomplishment. It was a pleasure playing with you, watching you make it to the major leagues. We're Felician proud. 2014 CACC champs for life. Let me find a couple others, start real quick. Scott DeYoung, who actually was a fellow member of that team in 2014 and was also drafted, writes, Jerry's hard work, dedication, resilience, and his ability to lead by example paved the way for years to come. Jerry is one of those guys that players and coaches will talk about for years to come. Not being a highly recruited guy to high school, then battling through injuries, Jerry dedicated himself to get to the next level. Battled through an injury again and reached his goal and getting to the highest level in sports and Major League Baseball. I was fortunate enough to be his teammate, a conference champion together, be drafted in the same draft class, and ultimately his friend. I want to congratulate Jerry on the Hall of Fame induction for not only being a great player, but also a great teammate and an even better person. That's Scott DeYoung. I'll give you one more. This comes from Coach Arlen Freeman. This one's a little long-winded, but if you know Arlen, everything's long-winded. So he says, I remember when I got the job, he told me that if I get him to throw strikes, I'd get a better job. Always think of it yourself. He says, I think he overcame that stigma pretty quick, laughing out loud, which obviously he did. I remember Jerry being a great teammate, and he brings up a night where it was pretty cold, and the guys were, of course, being loose and joking around, and they made fake guns out of bats and cups, something crazy, but they were laying on the ground like snipers. Don't ask me what they were doing, but we won a doubleheader, so I really could care less. And then he tells the story. I remember in Southern New Hampshire, Jerry had one of the worst bullpens I've ever seen in my entire life. He threw at least 10 baseballs into the woods. And you asked me the question you've asked me a million times before every game. How do you look? And I said, based on that bullpen, I'll be shocked if he gets out of the first inning. He went on to throw a complete game, 14 strikeouts, we got to win. He said in most cases with the great player like Jerry was, he was the hardest worker on the team. He pushed all the other guys to be better. He worked relentlessly when no one was watching, and then just strove for perfection. So that came from Arlen Freeman. Again, I can go on and talk about Jerry and what he accomplished. I think it all speaks for itself. Gerard Vasto was a hell of a human being. He was a hell of a baseball player. We're proud of him. And excited to and honored to present him and his induction to the Felician College Hall of Fame. Come on up, Gerard.
Let me raise this, Chris. Good evening, everyone. It's an incredible privilege to be standing up here tonight and accepting this award in acknowledgement of my career here at Felician. I'd first like to say congratulations to Marcos and James on their inductions to the Hall of Fame for being recognized for their success as athletes in their respective sports. I'd also like to thank the Hall of Fame committee members for the consideration in selecting me to be standing up here today. I know a lot of thought and effort goes into this process and event, and I know I speak for everyone when I say how much it means to all of us as former athletes at Felician. I'd like to give another special thank you to Coach Chris Langan and the rest of the coaching staff for giving me the opportunity to continue to play the greatest game on earth and develop into the ball player that I was. Not many coaches wanted to take a chance on a kid like me out of a small high school that was historically unsuccessful, but Chris and Steve saw something in me, and for that I'm grateful. To my family, mom, dad, my twin brother, Nick, and sister Angela, I owe you guys the most sincere thank you. I'd be up here all night if I talked about everything you guys have done for me, but for the sake of time, thank you for all the sacrifices each of you have made to allow me to play the game we all share a passion and love for, and thank you for being my biggest fans. My twin brother Nick deserves a lot of recognition for my success here at Felician. Him and I would actually stay up on the phone the night before my start, going over the lineup that I was facing, and he would put together a scouting report for me on every hitter. So I knew the other team better than they knew themselves because of that. Mom and Dad, from teaching me to work for what I wanted, and that nothing worth having would come easy. Playing catch with me when I needed to throw, yes, that includes my mother and my sister. To sending me a few extra bucks when I was in the minor leagues, living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 5 other teammates and no furniture. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Dad, thank you for the almost daily reminder of your favorite word, perseverance. To my beautiful wife, Jess, thank you for always believing in me and standing by my side through all the ups and downs that came along with putting up with a professional baseball player. From a crazy day of traveling when I made my debut to coming out to stay with me when I was rehabbing Tommy John surgery in Arizona. Thank you for never letting me doubt myself and for always supporting me. Lastly, I'd like to give a special thank you and congratulations to Felician's longtime SID, Mark Mentone. Mark, you're as much a part of the athletic program as any other coach, player, or administrator, if not more. And without your work, the consistent growth and success of Felician's athletics would not be possible. You are leaving incredibly big shoes to fill that will definitely take more than one person to do. But I know I speak for every athlete that has ever been lucky enough to compete here, and wishing you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. So everybody please give another round of applause. My time at Felician is something I wouldn't trade for anything. I came to school as an 18-year-old kid, not really knowing what to expect as a collegiate student athlete, and grew into a young man while making relationships that would last the rest of my life. My teammates became roommates, best friends, groomsmen, and guys my kids will ultimately call their uncle one day. From going through 2-a-day practices in the winter, 10 a.m. practices that lasted until 1 in the morning because that was the only time everyone on the team didn't have class. The spring break trips to Clearwater Beach that gave us enough memories to talk about still to this day. And we may or may not be able to go back there again. Having to run the hill every morning for 2 months at 6 a.m. with those previously stated best friends for reasons I won't comment much more on because my parents are here and my in-laws are here as well. To winning the program's first conference championship in 2014 and participating in an NCAA regional, which has led to Felician baseball being recognized as a nationally ranked program and legitimate contender in the East region every year. I quickly learned how lucky I was to choose Felician during my professional career from playing with guys who were part of those big-time Division I programs that I told Chris stunk. Those programs, their experiences and their relationships with their coaches were a lot different than mine. One story that always stuck with me was when Augie Garrido, who was once held the most wins in NCAA history, decided to retire. One of my teammates was a former 5-year starter, held multiple records for the University of Texas program that is about as storied as any other program in the country. He told me he texted Coach Garrido to congratulate him on his retirement, and I couldn't believe that he actually got he couldn't believe that he actually got a response. I couldn't help but think how crazy that was to me. And it made me realize how lucky I was to have played for a coach like Chris and to have been a student here at Felician. Chris and I talked, and still do talk, on almost a weekly basis. Not just about baseball, but about everyday life events. I still talk to my old professors through Facebook, and even exchange emails every couple months just to check up on each other while I was away. These are things that I thought were completely normal for every college athlete. But they aren't. Not everyone gets lucky enough to have a player-coach relationship for 4 years that turns into a friendship that lasts the rest of your life. Coach Chris was one of the first people I called after I was told I would be getting a call up to the big leagues from AAA. After calling my parents a few times on the house phone to wake them up and give them the news because it was past midnight, I knew Chris would be awake and he was the next person I called. He made the trip down to Philadelphia with his family to watch us play the Phillies. Stayed after the game to talk on the field even though it was late and he had his daughters with him and a 2-hour drive home. And constantly reminded me that if I ever needed anything, he was always just a phone call away. Playing college baseball at Felician has been one of the best privileges of my life, and being inducted into the Hall of Fame here is something that I will always hold as one of the highest achievements of my life. While I was here, I developed into a pretty decent ball player and a better person. I'd like to say one final thank you to my coaches and staff, my family and friends, Felician University, everyone here tonight at Vasto Baseball. Thank you.